YouTube, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. And today's video, I got y'all with the setup for the docks. So if y'all want to get a efficient growing for Coke, this is the setup for you. And I'm saying, if you like it, try it out for yourself. It's making me a lot of money, as you can tell in the bottom right. So if you guys want to jump right into it, this is the list that we're going over for the build. So first off, you're gonna need large storage racks. You're gonna need 35 of those, costing $2,100. You're gonna need mixing stations Mark IIs. You need 8 of those, coming in at $16,000. You need cauldrons. You need 3 of those, totaling $9,000. You need lab ovens. You need 3 of those, totaling $3,000. Suspensions racks, you need 16 of those, coming in at $640. You need full spectrum growing lights, you need 16 of those, totaling $3,200. You need moisture preserving pots, 16 of those for $800. And for this, you kind of only need one, but if you want one for yourself, then you need packaging stations Mark II. You need 2 of those. Like I said, if you want 1 or 2. But for 2 of those, it's $1,500. And then for brick press, you need 1 of those, $800. But I do have 2, so if you want 2, it's $1,600. And then 11 beds is optional. You can do 10, but for 11 beds is $1,650, because 1 of those beds is for you to sleep in. And then this is optional, but in my preference, I prefer it. You need modern wall lamps. You need 50 of those, totaling at $5,000. Now for the equipment size, for the total cost of the build, it's going to be $43,690. Okay, now that we went over the parts list that you need, for the workers, you're going to need 2 botanists, 4 chemists, and 4 handlers. The total cost of those workers are going to be $17,000. Now for the whole cost of the build for the docks is $60,690. And obviously, if you include buying the docks, it's like what, $110,000. So I'm gonna just go over how I have everything set up, and then I'll show you how I have everything managed to grow this Coke process. Now it is an 8 mix that I have going on here, the best mix in the game currently right now. So we are having, this is mine, what it's called Snowballs. The suggested price is $7.35, but you can list it for $9.99. So like, if I have here some deals here, you're looking at $12.80 for 1. So they're always gonna up price you more than what you're asking for. Like, every order you're gonna get $1,000. Nobody is asking for the $9.99, so you're always gonna get $1,000 setup. So for the lights, this is how I have the lights set up. You can obviously set them up however you like, but for the beds, we're not gonna be using this side, so we pack all the beds over here. So we got 2 beds here facing this way. And then you line up for this side. You put 1 here. And then your last 3 are going in this room. Now you can still put stuff up here if you like. We don't need this. But here is where you give all your 8 shelves to stack back these ones in the middle. So this needs to be free so that the workers can go up, grab the product, come back down smoothly, and stock up these shelves with your ingredient of whatever is behind it. So we'll start off with the back here. So we have 16 pots. We have 14 of them lined up against the back wall like this. Obviously, you're going to put your pots down, and you're going to put your suspension racks, and then your full spectrum grow lights above them. and then you're going to put just 2 in the middle. If you can line it up your best, doesn't really matter. You're going to put the same thing on this side. And then for over here, I have obviously 3 storage racks, and then these are their supplies, but this one's for me to supply this one and supply this one. So if you go ahead and select all 16 pots, like so, you're gonna click E, and you're gonna go seeds. We're gonna select coca seeds, and then for the additive, you're gonna select fertilizer. Now this gives you the high quality instead of using drying racks, so it's more efficient without having the drying racks. So we're just using fertilizer. And then for the destination, it's mixed. So if you want to do your first 8 pots, click E, destination. Obviously you can see these 8 go into this cauldron, just to divide it up evenly as possible. And then for your cauldrons lined up against this wall, we have the storage for gasoline for them, as you have to obviously fill up. But the thing with the cauldrons is that you won't have to fill the cauldrons back up with gas for a little minute. Like I said, I've used this for a couple of days now, and I still have 9 in here. But so on the left side of the wall is where the cauldrons go, and then across from the cauldrons on this side we have our 3 lab ovens and our bed on this side. This is where you sleep, and then you have extra storage over here. Okay, so now if you obviously click on the cauldron, you're going to that lab oven. Obviously you're just going to the one across from it, so if you click this cauldron, you're going to select it to the second one of the lab oven back there on the wall. And then this lab oven is going to be the third one. And then obviously you're going to click manage. You're going to actually left shift. You're going to click on all 3 because these are all going to the same destination that they need to go. They are going to this first mixing station. This is where they need to go to start the mix for your first ingredient to obviously make the right product that you're making. So as you have for the mixing stations, whichever side, it doesn't matter. You can start this side, go down, but it has to be in this order. I'll pop the recipe on the screen right now. So obviously we're going to have motor oil in this one, kook, paracetamol, gas. You come around to this side, you're going kook again, you're going battery, I don't remember that because my shells aren't stocked, and then you're going horse product, and then you're going mega bean for the final mix. Now for the mixing to be automated, obviously you're going to keep the threshold at 1 to make it so that these workers are constantly working. You're going to go mixing station to the next one, and then obviously this one to this one, this one to this one, this one come around this way to this mixing station, this mixing station to the next, to the next, to the next. And then obviously when you get to your last mix, you're going to put it to a storage rack. This one right here, the one that's empty. And then when obviously product gets put on this shelf, then you're going to have one of your handlers on a route to take it and put it to your packaging station, or if you want, you can have them put it to the brick press and make bricks for your dealers. Currently I have it set up to where I am pumping out bricks. Yeah, I'm pumping out bricks for right now. As you can see, I have 14 in here, but I have all this stuff in here. So like I said, this place is constantly pumping out product as long as you're keeping these storages up here full of product. So like I said, this build, if you want to do it, go ahead and copy this out. But real quick, if you guys would like, I'll go over all your employees with you. So for most of these chemists, there's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 things here. So not everybody is going to manage a station. So they have 8 total, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, make it even. So with that, you're going to sign whichever chemist you have first. You're obviously going to select them a bed. And then for your stations, you're just going to come in here, select a station for them that you want to do. You can have them do these 3 lab ovens and a mixing station if you want. Go to the next one, carry these 3 mixing stations plus this one, that makes their 4th. Go to your next chemist, do it over, select a bed, have these do these 3 mixing stations and a cauldron. And then for that, you do your last one, just run these 2 cauldrons. Doesn't matter how you have it set up, as long as you have it set up. Now, with the botanist, obviously you're gonna click on your botanist. You're gonna have them select 8 pots because botanist can do 8 at a time. So if we come over here to our botanist, we'll do this one first. You're gonna do obviously their bed, and then for the 8 pots, I have this one. He has his pots over here. He's managing these 8, and then he's taking his supply rack is one of these. So we'll just go to him again. Yes, select supplies, and whichever rack, doesn't matter. Just give him one of these first 2 because this 3rd one is where you're gonna be filling up their supplies. So he has this rack. Same thing with the other botanist. He's running these 8 pots, and his supply rack is this one. Okay. So those are your 2 botanists taken care of, and your chemist taken care of. Now for the routes. This is where things kind of get a little tricky, but as long as you pay attention and follow the steps, like it shouldn't be too hard. But I will delete all these routes to show you how to set these guys up. So for 2 of them, you're gonna have one selected for your brick press, obviously to make your bricks, and then you're gonna have one doing the packing station. Now the other 2 are just gonna run straight routes. So we're gonna take your first guy doing the packing station. You're gonna go packaging station. You're gonna put your packing station here. For this is the one they're doing. So you're gonna select the source. We're gonna go the large rack behind it, carrying the jars. You're going large rack to packaging station. Okay, and then you're gonna go large storage rack where the stuff comes to. Right now I have it set up to the brick press. So we're gonna do brick press as the 2. So he's gonna be making these into bricks, and then your brick press is going over to the large racks over here, whichever shelf, doesn't matter. And then you're gonna select your 2, go up here, and actually start the mixing. So obviously, I mean, it doesn't matter what side he does, but we're gonna start with the motor oil. You're gonna go from, and then you're gonna select 2, mixing station, and then let me turn off this light, it's kind of bright. Go back to him. You're gonna go from this large storage rack to mixing station, and then you're gonna follow the line, go this large storage rack to this mixing station. Now those are his routes set up for him. So remember where you left off on. So paracetamol, which is the 3rd mixing station, and then you're gonna take another guy. You're gonna do the same thing. Just follow down the line. So you're gonna do. Remember we did paracetamol, so we're gonna do this large storage rack to this mixing station. This large storage rack to this mixing station. And then just repeat it. Large storage rack to this mixing station. Large storage rack to to this mixing station. Now those are all your route setup for the mixing. Now to do the overstock, you're gonna do him and him. You're gonna take your third handler and you're gonna set up the routes for these. So we can, remember, this is 1 through 8. So select your first storage rack. You're gonna do this storage rack to this storage rack. Second one to the second. Obviously third to the third, and so on and so on. Third to the third. Fourth to the fourth. Okay, those are his routes. And then you're gonna find your last handler, which I'm pretty sure is this guy. So obviously get their bed. You're gonna do the finish up the routes. Now, since this guy's only gonna have 3 routes, you can figure out what you want to do with the last 2. Well, I'll show you what I've done with the last 2 routes that I have him doing. Finish up this one and send it to here. Okay, now that you have all the ingredients set up, go into there, we can select 2 more routes for this guy to do since he has nothing else to do. Use this one. So, like I said, there's 2 things that you can have him do. You can either have him do gasoline to fuel up the gasoline, or what I have him doing is I have him doing soil. So this overstock will go to here. Okay, and then you're gonna take your last one. Sorry, I stumbled a little bit. This rack that has your coca seeds and your fertilizer on it, and take this and put it here too. So he'll fill all this up, and this is what you're using to fill to this. And then yeah, that's pretty much the whole setup for the docks. And then for me, what I like to do, since like if I'm running jars, I'll have the jars in here, and then I'll have this little right cubby section to myself, which I have a brick press if I want to do bricks myself to help out the process to go faster. I have a storage rack back here behind the packaging station for extra baggies. And then, like I said, if I don't need, so many jars, I'll put a jar in here, click to unpack it, and then pack it back into actual baggies, not the jars. So, yeah, that's pretty much the whole setup. Like I said, you can run meth, you can do coke. Like I said, I have it set up for coke because it is the highest selling product in the game. So like I said, it goes, this 8 mix goes for $7.35, and you can list it for $9.99. Now the best mix in the game is also the same thing, motor oil. The 8 mix that we have set up for the coke is the exact same setup for meth. Now the price to make meth is not really worth it to what you're getting out of, so that's why I have it favorited, but I don't sell it. I only sell the coke right now. So like I said, I'll show you guys a little setup. Hopefully we get some orders in the morning, but we just got an order from Jeff. He's he's offering $12.80 for one. Now, for right now, as you start selling coke, I've seen that you can't really hassle with them, but $12.80 for this mix, good price. So we'll set it. We got orders coming in left and right. Like, we got offered another $12.10, and then the only thing that you guys have to do is make sure these 8 shelves are stocked up, and you just have to make sure that your suppliers' shelves are stocked up. So that's the only part that you have to do. So you can still let this warehouse do its thing and then run away from it for a couple days. Boom, come back, you have a whole bunch of product on your shelves. So like I said, all you have to order is make sure you have your product going. Like I said, I have to restock, so that's all you guys have to do. Now with this, do as you please. And if you like this setup and you want to try it out for yourself, make sure to drop a like, drop me a comment, let me know how you liked it. And if you guys want me to do more of these setups videos, let me know. I will be glad to do them. And if you guys could check the link in the description, join the Discord, we're going to be over there. If you guys have any questions, DM me in the Discord. And it's your boy Dave, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.